I think they're just a bunch of individuals thrown together, and their individual talent is not strong whatsoever. Like, I think most of their players are legitimately bottom of their role, probably. Like, 3 of their players, at least, are probably bottom, or I would say the worst in the LCS. So they don't have enough star talent to carry them over. So I think it should just be a pretty easy win. But maybe they'll, I mean, they're at the bottom of the standings, so obviously they're willing to pull out really weird stuff. So we just got to watch out for that. As long as we take away what's easy to play in the game, we should just win.
Hello and welcome back for our next game, Golden Guardians versus OpTic Gaming. My name is Sam Kobe Hartman-Kensler, and Freak still has a mouthful of burrito from his time on the lounge with Iki and Meteos. Glad you enjoyed it. That was a really big opener there from Acadian, though, looking down quite heavily on OpTic, or on the Golden Guardians here, so definitely going to be a spicy one.
It's going to be a spicy one. Unlike my burrito, only mild salsa. They screwed up my order. Let's take a look at the starting lineups on stage. Selecting the blue side is Golden Guardians. As we know, blue always wins. Lolo in the top lane, Contracts in the jungle, High in mid, Depthly in bot alongside Matt at support with Coach Tyler. And I wonder which 3 he thinks are bottom of the roll.
Well, let's see. On the red side, it is going to be OpTic Gaming facing them. Up top, now in from their Academy squad is Dokla. In the jungle will be Acadian, mid Power of Evil, bottom Arrow, support Lemon Nation, and Coach Zabutin on stage. Now, Dokla, this guy, as we said, has moved up from the Academy team. He actually had very good stats in Academy, you know, high damage percent, high DPM, but it's going to be very interesting because the transition from Academy to the LCS stage is a very big one.
It is, and sometimes it works great, sometimes it works not so well. We'll see which one it is for him, but it's only been a week since these 2 teams faced off. This time around, Golden Guardians get the added confidence boost that comes from beating Team Liquid, though, just last week.
Yeah, that was a huge win for the team. And you can see on the faces of the Golden Guardians, after every win, how much it means to these guys and how it has kind of revitalized the team. Lorlo, in particular, looked very good in both the Camille game as well as the Gnar game. Contracts has cleaned up a lot of those mistakes that we saw early on in the season. And High, even on Orianna, there has been one of the main champions that he's performed in. A lot more team play from them, and overall just looking more cohesive.
Yeah, the playoff bar is also pretty low right now. There's a lot of teams that can reach into that top 6, so I think both teams still have a shot of making it all the way to that top 6, make it into the postseason, and get your improvement in for there. So as Champ Select comes in, you're seeing the bans that you expect here. There's no Victor for Power of Evil, the Azir off as well.
Yeah, Gangplank pretty much across the board been banned out very frequently. Again, we were talking about Lorlo, though, and his performances with the Gnar as well as the Camille. Going up against the Academy top laner, Golden Guardians might be looking to focus that role.
Yeah, and Dokla, to be honest, like to bring him up more specifically, he has been really good. If you guys watch the OpTic YouTube series about their team, they said, you know, we looked at the stats for the Academy top laners, like, wait a second, the best top laners actually ours. Dokla's actually doing the best in Academy, and they weren't lying. If you look at the stats, that's actually true. He is the highest damage per minute of any top laner, the highest damage share of any top laner, highest damage share on his team, by the way, in OpTic Academy.
He has played you know, champions that definitely fulfill that role.
Sure, yes.
He's even played Aurelia up there, which we haven't seen other people do. Coming through, though, with catching up on these picks, Skarner, of course, been first pick by Golden Guardians. That is going to provide a lot of power from the jungle. Right now, one of the most sought-after ones, can easily clear camps very quickly, as well as bring that utility to the team fights. Meanwhile, OpTic Gaming, this Camille pick, stealing it away from Lorelei, I think is a really good opener from the green side.
And they're even showing off, yes, it's definitely Camille top. I guess there is the chance of Camille support. We've seen it in the past, but normally you can say, okay, we can grab Camille early, flex it, then see the matchup. They're grabbing the Sedge right now, even though Sedge should not be stolen away, saying, yes, give us your best counter pick, Lorlo. Dokla's not afraid to blind Camille against you on his first game on stage.
And I'm interested as well, since now you would get a free double pick for the Golden Guardians. A lot of people have been talking about the power, again, of Xayah and Rakan and how the duo has risen up, but they're not going to go for it here. They do split it. Varus, definitely one of the classed ones, is going to be able to rush the Rage Blade and provide a lot of early game power, as well as scaling fairly smoothly.
Ooh, and they leave Ryze up for High as well. We are still on 8.3, but of course Ryze, a very strong champion in Pro, and High going to get another highly sought after mid laner. OpTic, clearly we're not rushing to pick that champion. Again, the Sejuani did not need to be grabbed yet. They chose to let the Varus and Ryze go over. No rush for them, so I'm curious what they think they want. smile on Power People's face. I wonder what his counter pick's going to be.
Yeah, I was actually doing a bit of a head scratcher there because Hai really has looked so good to me when, even throughout his career, when he goes back to Orianna, kind of the more standard all-around support, more team focus. And Orianna with the speed ups and the shields could really supplement Skarner, but
Yeah.
they can make plays with Ryze, and that might be one of the things that the Golden Guardians want to focus on. Is try and utilize that ultimate more offensively.
Absolutely, and to your point about Orianna, I mean, the only 2 Golden Guardians wins are with that champion. That's the one common factor across those games. And interesting to see that's what they go for here, but of course, back to the second ban phase, OpTic Gaming getting rid of, I guess, a flex top support in Shen. We've seen in both roles. No Callista allowed for Arrow. They might leave the Draven up, they might not care, but he's played that one twice in a row, and, maybe to his own detriment, maybe not so much, but one final ban for both these teams, and then we go to the last phase of picks.
Yeah, definitely a lot of bottom lane focus here. Still looking at a possible carry champion in the top side there from Lorlo and taking out the Fiora. As I said in the last game, Fiora being able to riposte a lot of the hook shots from Camille is definitely one of the big things for that matchup, and you don't want to lose control of your split pushing on the side.
Definitely not the case here. So one final ban for Golden Guardians. What do they want to remove from Arrow and Elimination? And Xayah going to drop off the table as well. You talked about Xayah Rakan being a very powerful duo. Well, can't pick them both when one of them is gone. They can still pick the other, but maybe less likely here. Lots of tank support still available, though, for both of these teams. OpTic, what will they choose as time wears down slowly but surely? I believe that 0-second countdown is not quite accurate. They've got another 8 seconds as far as my monitor is concerned. 6 seconds to go for what they're going to grab for themselves.
I'm looking at Braum, Alistar, and Tahm Kench, kind of the 3 possibilities for the bottom lane. There is a Skarner, as well as Sejuani Ultimate. That would be great targets to try and deny that crowd control from. A front person here, though, with the Alistar would definitely go a long ways as far as pushing the tempo a little bit for Golden Guardians.
Yeah. Curious to see Elimination waiting for the pick as well. He might want to play Morgana into Braum as a result. Otherwise, I think Braum is the highly prized support in most cases, and you'd often rush for the champion, but not the case here, of course. So Tristana is the response pickup, as we'd seen a second ago. Pretty good late-game power, and pretty good all-in potential as well, as Inara is going to be the survival pick for Laurel. This should still be Camille favored top lane.
Yeah, it's slightly favored, and it does also depend quite a lot on jungle presence.
Yeah.
If Camille can go for the hook shots and try and all in the Gnar in mini form, looking for your kills, most of it really starts to come around the level 6. So maybe early on, they're going to be looking for more warding here from the junglers, Skarner versus Sejuani, but we'll definitely have to keep our eyes. Once they hit that level 6 and have the possibility of securing kills, the Hextech Ultimatum is one of the best for those big game kills as soon as Dokla does get there.
All right, a lot of power here, and they're going to go Tahm Kench, of course, with their final pickup. So OpTic Gaming's lineup on your screen. Dokla, again, making his North American LCS debut, pulled up from the Academy team. They decided it's time for a 6-man roster. Split some scrim time between Dokla and Zig, and looks like the nod right now has gone to the recently pulled up Academy player. Could be the case for tomorrow as well, but that's, of course, their decision. PoE on Orianna, he's been a very big carry for the team. Meanwhile, Golden Guardians have put Hai onto Ryze, and a lot of powerful champions across the board. The first pick on Skarner, certainly a highly prized champion in his own right.
Yeah, one of my favorite little combinations here, the duo of the bottom lane, the last 2 lock-ins here from OpTic, Tristana, and Tahm Kench, is very good at moving around to take turrets early on in the game if they get ahead. So we'll have to see if OpTic Gaming can get a lead early on and try and secure some of those structures.
We'll see how it goes if the bot lane can do well for themselves. Acadian said that 3 of the Golden Guardians players are worst in the role, and it's hard to think that he's talking about contracts and high if you're just thinking about pedigree and what they've done as players so far in the LCS. So maybe he thinks that the bot lane is going to be easy to push down, and that could be a big strength for OpTic Gaming as a result. I do like Tristana's early and mid game. That turret demolition certainly can be incredibly powerful. OpTic are a bit better in the standings and just outside of a playoff spot. Of course, with still 8 games to go for all these teams, this game included. Playoff spots still available for both these squads. We get ourselves into the game. Golden Guardians versus OpTic Gaming. Hitting the rip. Let's see who can do it.
Other thing to keep your eye on here, we've got an Ignite in the bottom lane from Lemonation on the Tahm Kench. So the possibilities of Tristana, Rocket Jump, trying to continue those kills is definitely there.
He's also running Glacial Augment Tom Kench, so it is more crowd control in there to be more all-in focused, and we might really see them go aggressive down here.
I really do like that. Once you get a taste, then you can stack up your 3 stacks there with Tom Kench and really go for the huge threat on anyone who gets in range. So definitely a volatile bottom lane, and we actually might see Acadian switching up his pathing, even though you would expect him to try and visit the Camille lane.
Okay, let's see what comes through with this one as we wait for minions to spawn and the players to jump back and forth for now. Door and Shield for both top laners, Machete for both the junglers. Pretty similar starts on all things. The major difference being that High has gone with the Unsealed Spellbook, same as Power of Evil, but is running Dematerializer in that spot. Going to be a little bit interesting to watch for what comes out of that, if you can get the wave pushing and maybe be the first to roam. We do expect there to be some action on the bot side of the map. Considering the Ignite and everything else, that could be a very fun place to look. As the monsters spawn, it will be a duo lane leash for both teams. This is very much par for the course, the expected opener.
Yeah.
As, case here.
As much as we are putting a magnifying glass on this Ignite and the Tristana Tom Kench combination, Lemonation actually, as a support, has some of the worst statistics for support players in the entire league. Lowest KDA of all the support players, highest death share for his team, and very importantly is a very low experience difference, actually the lowest. So that can come from multiple things. You know, you can say, oh, roaming around a lot, but oftentimes it comes from getting pushed out of lane or being sent back to the death chamber, which you can kind of see from the deaths that he has accrued. So it is definitely a lot of offensive capability down there, but typically this year he has been the one getting punished.
We'll see if they can turn that one around in this game. OpTic have had a slightly better season, but of course very close on both these sides. Quick turnaround as Contracts have taken down 2 camps. It was red into Raptors into the blue and out to the top scuttle to help give a little bit of safety as Nara's getting the early push, as you kind of expect from this matchup, and this will give him just one extra little way to stay safe. Acadian actually a much heavier clear, staying around top side for a very long time, doing Krugs in his first clear. Will spot Contracts coming by, and Contracts actually going to get to steal Raptors. As a result, looks like Acadian did not think it could duel around that area of the map and just simply gave up Raptors first time.
Yeah, that's why Acadian's got some awkward pathing here that you don't see too often, but taking control of Raptor Camp is huge for Contracts. The Golden Guardians are going to want to keep this timer and be able to continually steal away this very large pack of experience and gold, the best mini camps to keep after. So we'll probably see continued top sort of presence from Contracts here on the Skarner. He still can farm his own blue side as well and continue to keep the vision supporting this lane, granting Lorlo the ability on Gnar to push in, you know, make a big abuse case of his range advantage versus Camille early on. You can see it in the CS already and getting Dokla pushed in.
See if that comes through. Yeah, 2 CS not the worst in the world, but we might grow in a little bit. Gold pretty equal across the 2 teams, and every lane is in a fairly similar spot. A bit more farm for Contracts, a bit more for Power of Evil, but otherwise par for the course on most of these sides. High in his start going to get 3 or 4 more CS right here, and Dokla so far just trying to stay alive. This matchup will flip a little bit later. Typically, Mini Gnar is quite squishy, his base stats among the lowest in the game, and the 2-on-1 can work very well if they can get in on that one. Nice little sidestep by Arrow, gets away from the heart-shaped volley of arrows. No damage from Deftly there.
Well, I've got a lot of bottom side river control for OpTic, and you can tell that Acadian kind of wants to work off this area. The control ward was spent down there. They do also have control of that Scuttle Crab and the Spire, so maybe they are trying to add a little bit more presence to support this Ignite Glacial Augment side down here. But so far, Matt and Deftly just farming up, not overextending, not getting into those melee battles.
Yeah. It's also interesting, Lemonation went for a slightly greedier start, went refillable potion in his opening buy as opposed to the triple potion of Matt. But they have burned 1 potion out from Matt and 1 from Deftly as well, so a bit more poke has happened from the OpTic duo. Still Deftly pretty healthy and not getting pushed down before too terribly long, or sorry, not too quickly I should say. But maybe they can find their next road in. Looking for the dodge. Nope, not going to find that one. Dokla gets a couple of attacks in and kites right back out. Does not get hyper-triggered, so does pretty well in the trade, but will it in a half HP.
Also, if you're watching the mini-map, both junglers are hovering around mid lane here, and this OpTic control ward, as we go for a little bit of a trade here, Power of Evil trying to bait High. The ward in the river below the mid lane here, where it's kind of sitting at the curve, some people call it the banana bush, is one that actually lasts quite a long time, because early in the game, junglers, if their supports are not being tracked especially, are very wary at extending that far into enemy territory.
For sure. Quickly, the cannon minion goes away. The dematerializer. Matt wants to step up for some damage on Arrow, but not going to follow through on that one just yet. But it does mean that Golden Guardians get the push first in the bot lane, and it's 1,600 gold on the AD carry, so definitely go back for some pretty decent items here. First TP spent. High comes back to mid. Of course, that was done a few seconds ago by Power of Evil himself, as they both got some pretty good recalls. Last chapter on the one side, Tier plus half a Spectre's Cowl on the other.
Yeah, a lot of defenses, everybody getting their mana items in, all going fairly according to plan. Now, this is a big double-stacked wave here, almost triple-stacked, actually, for the Golden Guardians. So Contracts is coming up just to pressure and make it more difficult for Dokla to catch up in CS.
Katie not seen just yet. Now does find Contracts 1v1, will land the stun, get a bit of damage here on this, and walks right back out. And this is going to get the safety Dokla needs to farm the wave without too much difficulty. High misclicks! And he's going to get Shockwave right in, and right now elimination coming by as well.
So I'm going to guess that he was going for a minion dematerializer there, and he just had it in the wrong spot, or thought he had the item in the other hotkey there. So bit of a blunder, and that is a big cost, especially since the sell value of the item was reduced so heavily. It really is quite a big misclick there that, honestly, we've seen quite a lot of.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, those mistakes do happen. And of course, again, this is the patch as well where you cannot ult Zhonya's out on Rise either. So it's a likely sale. And Arun gave him, what, like 50 gold or something. And that was the choice there.
Yeah, and caused him to get hit with a shockwave.
Yeah, sure. Damage is nothing to shake your stick at. Shake a stick at. There we go. Got there eventually. English was hard sometimes.
It could be my stick.
All right, we're going to shake your stick at that Zhonya's. Whatever that means. Family-friendly stream. Contract's going to go ahead and look at his blue buff. That's coming up in the next 30 seconds, maybe a bit less. Actually, it's up right now. He didn't want to fight for it. He's actually going for an invade instead. He says, you know what, actually, I've got High with me. We've got pressure on mid. We can go for a red steal instead. And that will be successful as Acadian's on the other side of the map and won't get anything done for it. So nice little call right there by Golden Guardians. Red goes over. Contracts gets himself a nice buff.
Yeah, Contract still, again, working off this top triangle of the map. Just letting Matt and Deathly down in the bottom side stay safe. They're just farming away, not really getting into any of those skirmishes. And now we're seeing Lemonation on Tom Kench get the first move on mid lane. High does have his flash, but again, no stopwatch activation.
No, and he's just hugging the top side. Of course, he knows that, yeah, it's the Tristana, Tom Kench who are pushing Squall, get away from that side of the lane. Smart play by him, and it's easy to walk away from all of this. And gets himself that blue buff, no problem. Kiwi got the same, but again, it's OpTic down a red buff as a result of some nice invading by Contract and some nice lane pressure by High. 300 gold lead for Golden Guardians, the team. Not the end of the world for either side, but nice to have, of course. A little bit of damage there, and Dokla is minus about 12 in this lane. Maybe more like, ooh, that's a nice one right there out of Lorlo. Meanwhile, elimination coming to the bottom of the map. There's a fight here, and they look for Matt for plenty of damage. One more hit could mean the W, and they get rooted as a good ult comes out for Deathly. And that means no more fight to be had. A trade of ultimates here, and now some damage to get on elimination. Looks like Dokla stayed alive, and will remain minus about 10-8 or so in this lane.
And you have to keep track of the opportunity cost of a play like that. Now High gets to push the mid lane, and the Rise is free to roam. So Golden Guardians can answer on top side, where Lorlo has been beating up on Dokla, pushing him under the turret. Contracts is already there, and they just need High to move up. And they could try and go for a first turret or a big play here. Recall has been canceled, so they're going for it.
All right, a little bit of damage here, and now Dokla's going to start walking back. He's trying to bait in the rest of the team, but also keep in mind Rise is showing up for a 3 versus 2. Shockwave comes in, pulls a big, and that's the first blood. They got the burst. One comes through, now they're going for the next one. His Contract's going to be locked into the ultimatum, and that is 2 kills in. PoE picking up 1, the other goes to Acadian.
Little too telegraphed there from OpTic, and Acadian once again lying in wait. This counter gank on top side sets him up so big for a Power of Evil Shockwave. Acadian, he stays and waits until High fully commits, gets in there, and then the Shockwave, they kill off Lorlo before he transforms Mega just on the edge of it there, and then it's a very quick secondary kill there. Dougla goes in with the ultimate. That is completely going to change the way this top lane and this entire game is going, because now the Camille already with the wave push has evened up the CS, got a bunch of money from the assist, and it's going to be trying to make a big dent in the Trinity Force cost.
Totally agree. Dougla, I think, can do very well when ahead. And we talked about it in the pregame. A high damage top laner by play style. They gave him the blind Camille. They've given him quite a bit of help as well. That Trinity Force only about 1,000 gold away from completion. Quite a good player himself. So good for him.
Yeah, I'm just impressed with Power of Evil's full reset after the bottom play. Now they're going bottom again. He's roaming again, and they're going all in.
Quite a bit of damage towards Destiny. Nice little knockback as well. Half HP. He's going to flash in for a bit more. They're going to pull in Matt. There comes some more damage. And that is a stopwatch that won't mean a whole lot, but the shield comes up, and he's actually able to walk away. Buys the cooldowns he needed. Now Power of Evil taking some damage. Summoner heal for him to keep him out of the turret range, I suppose. And that roam did not mean a whole lot.
Very active roams, though, from the jungle and mid lane duo of OpTic Gaming, and they're still bottom side. So while they didn't get anything there, High is going top.
And now he's got some people near him. 1 versus 2. Rooted shield is on. No way out of the targeted crowd control. Finally, a kill on the board for Golden Guardians. That high roam went nicely.
It's the race for the first turret bonus gold as well. Bottom side has 4 people there, though, so they should be able to win.
And will by a few seconds. So we're going to get the extra gold going the side of OpTic. Top will eventually trade down as Lola gets away.
Got burrito still in your mouth there,
Yeah,
huh?
sorry about that. Just my brain is slow. I spent so much time with Sneaky Meteos that just it rubbed off on me. No need to insult them. They're great people.
No need to, but you did. Classic freak.
That's exactly me. I'm just toxic.
I have yet to report you, though.
Honor 5, by the way.
You're my team. There might be a flaw in the system.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Contracts starts up this giant scuttle crab, Shelly, transformed by the evil powers of Baron, I guess, from hanging around that thing for too long. Should be able to finish it off, though. It's getting very low, even though Power of Evil wants to say something.
And here comes the squad. Now 2 vs 1 against Contracts. A flashless Skarner had literally no way out, and the shotgun secures the kill. PoE 2-0-1. 100% KP.
All right, well, they did get the Rift Herald Eye before Contracts went down, but an extra kill and more money going over to PoE on basically his signature champion here on the Orianna is going to go a long way. He's going the stacking build this time around with the Rod of Ages, so he's just going to get more powerful as we progress and it stacks up.
That is very interesting to look at, of course. Yes, he went Lost Chapter first item, but right into the Roa, so he's going to be much tankier. It's a solid 100 AP item as well. It does mean more damage by the end game as well, so interesting to see how that's going to play out this game. Top lane turret's going to fall as they've now moved Arrow around the map. Bottom lane is already dead. Pull him to the top side. Bring the jungler as well. Keep the support with them. And now that's 2 turrets down. OpTic have managed to do a lot with Tristana in the early to mid game.
Yeah, definitely good on OpTic, sticking to the game plan there. They're utilizing the Tahm Kench ultimate for multiple plays, trying to keep the tempo up. Now they get the Tristana turret demolition in good use as well. High keeps trying to answer these plays for Golden Guardians, but they're getting a lot less than OpTic are able to pull off cross map here. And Dougla now, defensively warding, backing off during the Rise roaming timer, moving back in for some experience. Even with very limited vision, the communication seems to be on point for these guys, and he is kind of skirting that edge between the danger, yet still not falling too far behind.
Absolutely. So good things and promising things out of OpTic as the squad 2,000 gold up and 2-1 on turrets. No Drake to be killed just yet. It is Cloud. Teams don't typically like to kill that one if they can, spend the time. So far a neutral light game. Aside from the fact that Shelly got killed a little bit ago, and we'll see when that one gets summoned. That one went towards Contracts, and we'll see what he finds the turret to go for. Blue buff going to be handed off once again towards High here on this Rise. 1-0-0 on him. Red buff. I believe stole it. Yeah, he was wearing red, so... And that's not really Contracts' fault. High just burst down to 7 HP, so... Rough stuff there, but a blueless Rise.
Yeah, and Skarner actually doesn't need much mana at all, since the Spires basically fill you back up all the way.
Yeah.
But a little bit of cooldown reduction. Decent, I guess.
Solid on the champion.
They'd much rather, of course, have it on High, but OpTic are the ones in control of this game. And this is where the story is. Now they can move the rest of their power, set up some vision around this dragon. They've had the full reset. They got their purchases in. You can see the Trinity Force completed here from Dougla before even going for the boots, because you just want that power of the extra strong Sheen activation to be able to convert to your true damage. Now he's feeling pretty good. Even though Gnar is 40-something CS ahead.
1,000 gold, too.
Because he's on his Trinity Force, he's at least comparable right now. Especially if they had to teleport during mini-Gnar exhaustion or something like that. There's a lot of high-impact, immediate effect felt from a Camille coming in and getting off a Hextech ultimatum on somebody, being able to burst someone down. But for Golden Guardians and their perspective, they really want to get some effect out of this Lorlo on Gnar being so fed. Contracts might be able to sting someone.
They're going to pull in the support, but Arut's going to buy some time on both these guys. Elimination going to stay fine, and now no ult for Contracts, but there's the ulti in across from Matt, and this could be the first kill. Shield comes up, but there's still nowhere to go, and definitely gets a kill credit there. Second on the board for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, great focus there from Contract. He knows if he goes for anyone else, Tahm Kench is just going to devour, so they punish the Tahm Kench, stun him up, take him down, and Golden Guardians are going to get back into this game. They take away the Cloud Drake, and now they need to try and reset because OpTic are trying to counter with a mid push.
Well, Predator, I think, was just popped, so who's running around where? Or am I an idiot and that was just on his keyword?
Contracts would be the only one with Predator, I believe.
Yeah, but I thought I heard the sound effect.
All right, well, let's take another look here because he used it. Maybe you're looking ahead into the replay, Freak.
Who knows? Maybe that's what it was.
Time Traveler, Freak. They do get the Skarner Sting there onto elimination, like we said. And again, then they just continue to focus the support. Even though it's annoying for you sometimes to burn through 2 health bars and have to get through the gray health, it was a very good catch by the Golden Guardians. And they were rewarded with the Cloud Drake, as well as being able to get back and defend the all-important mid tower, their last outer that's left standing right now.
Yep. All right, let's see what can come in out of this one as the game has gotten a little bit closer. 1,700 gold apart for both of these teams. Morellonomicon now done for Power of Evil. We'll see what comes next for him. Of course, the Abyssal Mask is long completed for high as well, so quite a bit durable against the magic damage dealer of Orianna in his lane. Fires go back and forth, and let's see what the next big play is going to be. No Drake for a while and no Baron for 3 minutes, so all you can do is play for turrets, as OpTic do have control of this bottom river. No easy way to see Lemon and Arrow coming around, but not an easy fight against High.
Yeah, I like rotating your duo lane when you have a Tahm Kench especially into the mid here. You know, Tristana with Static Shiv already gets to wave clear very easily and stay very mobile with the possibility of using Abyssal Voyage to make a play on the side. Camille, as we said, even though she's so far down in CS, is still threatening since they have the mobility of a Tahm Kench. Right now, though, Lemon gets focused again. Predator was popped, and he forces a flash.
And the ult out of Arrow as well, so that'll be on cooldown for about 100 seconds until the next one comes around. They clear in the mid lane. Golden Guardians sieging with 4.
Yeah, they have Power of Evil rotating down from top, but he might not get there in time. A lot of damage done.
Oh, they're going for the rotation down towards the blue buff. That should be an easy pickup, and if they caught Dokla, that could have been a kill. He's going to wait around on the sides. Blue goes over to High, and out he goes.
Well, they do have bottom turret very low, so I think that one finished up there. Actually, previously, there we go.
Nicely done.
And now they can actually move back up to mid. OpTic want to trade here because they have a minion wave on the way.
See what can show up for this one. The front lines of Matt. There's the Braum multi. Shotgun pulls in a couple. Good damage at the beginning of that one. Matt getting lower on HP, forced to flash away. Acadian a bit low as well. The explosive charge comes through, and out goes Tristan. Look for the next play as Lorlo walks up. His TP was used. Doklo, it was on cooldown, so they managed to actually bait a TP out from Lorlo.
Yeah, it looked like a cancel there from the OpTic side. And he continues to push.
Yeah. All right, so he can catch up and farm a little bit more, but still quite a bit behind this Gnar individually. 1,300 gold underneath Lorlo. Obviously, again, LCS, a different world from Academy, but Dokla, other than surviving the very early lane and playing around some counter ganks well, he has been put behind in this game.
Yeah, and I think that's why earlier on we like to point out when there's an area on the map that is very weak for your team. If Power of Evil rotates up to the duo lane, then Dokla is, going to back off from the turret because the Golden Guardians have so much more pressure there with the extra members. And it was really something kind of like the unsung heroes, the guys that play the weak side of the map. They have to give up a lot of farm, give up a lot of pressure, yet still remain relevant and doing a decent job.
And we'll see what the mid to late game looks like for him. Ninja Tabby just completed recently to survive the Gnar match, but was still building attack damage himself. Lorlo, of course, has been one of the incredibly bright spots for Golden Guardians. 100% KP for him, only a single death, and he has been instrumental in a couple of these Golden Guardians wins. We'll see how this continues to go as his CS lead has jumped to almost 60 now. and he might continue to be a very large force in these games. There will be a TP disadvantage shortly as Dokla will come up first. First Roman's elimination, a lot of damage to the front line. He's going to run away and actually burns his own QSS to walk away from this one.
And that's a pretty big cost, honestly. Even though the OpTic Gaming had early control of this game, Golden Guardians, they evened up the gold as well as having the extra Cloud Drake here. You have to be very, very wary if you're OpTic. They're forcing around mid lane here and could go for the dive. Lorlo, Meganar is just about to expire though, so the timer's very small.
Not great dive tools, but red buff still affects turrets. The damage comes in and it's down to only about 250 health. This turret getting dangerously low. As you mentioned though, the threat of no Meganar means the dive is just not going to be there. Matt's ulti's back up, but they got to respect that pretty soon. Contract also has last. They've actually found high for some damage after the shotgun bit as well. A lot of damage on this. Do they have the kill? Exhaust comes on an arrow, but do they have the damage to kill off Matt? Yes, they get that kill. The jump forward, he's going to find high. Turns right back around. Did not want to get shot by that. The one kill comes through to OpTic Gaming Fortitude and kills the lead 1000. A bit of a lone time on this mid lane outer turret, getting more and more injured. Now across the wall, it's going to be a pull into the front line, but they can't kill elimination. The dive comes through for Dokla, and then that second kill, the fight looking for a bit more. They find the stun, and definitely going to fall as well. A double kill for their new top laner.
That goes so bad for the Golden Guardians there. First high is off in the side brush. This actually kill is turning into a Baron rush from OpTic Gaming. Now it's only Lorlo that could say something about it. Right now, Contracts is going bottom, so this is basically given up.
That's a nice Baron picked up right here for OpTic Gaming, and only 21:40 into the game, an early one, but such a great fight that they were able to find. The shockwave was huge, and managed to pick up a couple more on the tower dive, so nicely done. OpTic now surging ahead 4,000 gold.
Yeah, if we get the replay for the setup there, Matt is the one who died, but he died trying to jump in 4 high, who was hovering down around here in the river, going for the, what?
Acadian sets it up, sorry, just calling out.
Oh yeah.
Him doing well.
High was going for that control ward, gets just immediately nailed, and that is kind of a snowball here, because Lorlo, we keep talking about this is the guy that's fed on the team. He's not there, and they already killed one person, so OpTic go for the easy dive, clean up a bunch of kills.
Really nicely done. The chain CC's coming through. Sorry for interrupting you, Kobe, but I do respect what Acadian did there. Seeing, yep, he's going for that control ward. You're not allowed to get rid of my vision. He jumps in for the R, and the rest of that combo was there. Holding the shockwave himself. Nicely done. So now off the reset as Baron's been grabbed, and the teammates go around to the various sides of the map. It's already a 1-3-1. Dokla top lane. Power people in the bot lane. Running cleanse right now, by the way, using that in case he gets rooted or Verasulted. Has the QSS as well for Skarner. He's got all his bases covered here.
Yeah, and Power of Evil, I mean, you got to keep counting the QSSs because Arrow does have a lot of, answers for it just in the kit of Tristana, right? Being able to jump away and keep her distance. But, the options are definitely running out quickly. If I was Contracts, I would definitely go for the Camille if they get a, regular setup 5v5. But with this Baron buff, that's not going to happen. OpTic are splitting up. They're trying to use that Baron buff on 3 lanes at once, pushing all 3 very effectively thus far, and really increasing the gold lead very quickly.
Absolutely well played by OpTic. You're looking to improve to 4-7, a pretty respectable record for how bad the start was. We've gone 1-1 for several weeks in a row now, and this will be their 3rd straight week with a game win. See if they can knock this one down. The rotation comes in, and this could be another turret falling.
Yeah, OpTic could very well get into playoffs easily. As everyone keeps saying, the playoff cutoff is so close right now. So every win is going a very long way, especially since they're right next to each other in the bottom of the standings currently. And this one looks very, very convincing thus far from OpTic. So they should just continue to keep up this pressure. They've gotten all the secondary turrets, so they have a ton of map to work with right now. Currently, there's a Mountain Drake on the field, so they're going to want to push out and secure the vision for that first. But then they can, again, just kind of corral the Golden Guardians into their own side of the map and starve them of vision.
Let's see what comes in for them as they've now grabbed that 3rd Quicksilver sack. They've got it now on their entire bottom half. It's only the fairly tanky top laners, and of course they can be saved by Tom Kench. So a lot of these bases just saying are covered. They've got a lot going on here. Mountain Drake not even a problem to pick up, and now it's just, okay, no Baron for 3 minutes, no Drake for 6. Okay, Baron's timing out, but it won't respawn for 3 minutes and change. And let's see where their next play is going to be, if they go back to the 1-3-1, or if they try to find a more consolidated team fight. 6,000 gold, they should be the one keeping the pressure up.
Yeah, already the pressure taking effect. As you can see, any wards Golden Guardians had out past the river have already expired, and now they're just trying to play defense and keep track of their own jungle. While as OpTic are moving in, they're taking away basically any extra gold sources on the map in those extra camps and securing a lot of plays that they could possibly set up here. Infernal Drake, as you mentioned, is going to be big, but it's going to be later, so just going to keep them pinned up in their own territory right now.
Let's see what they find with it then. Right now, taking away jungle camps. I like that, actually. You get a couple hundred gold taking away the Krugs. Very easy for Orianna to kill. Magic damage great against Krugs as they can wrest control of this. And I don't even think it's wrong to wait until Baron comes back up. It can be hard to siege inhibitor turrets, and looks like they just keep the wards up. And yeah, they're just going to cycle the jungle over and over. And honestly, they will grow a gold lead just doing this for the next few minutes.
That's how you get a lot of those bigger Baron power plays. I mean, this one they were able to push down a lot of secondary turrets, so that's where most of that 4,000 gold comes from. But then you still get more gold income afterwards from taking down all those defenses and farming out all those jungle camps. We saw Power of Evil taking the Krugs up there. Arrow was also counter jungling. And it just, not only does it take away gold from the enemy, but any sort of catch-up experience if the enemy jungler is under-leveled, that's a very valuable resource that you want to take off of the map. And OpTic are playing this one very calmly. It looks like they're not going to take any of those unnecessary risks and try and get themselves right back up the standings.
Let's see what comes in for them. Of course, we still must wait till the neutral objectives come up, and they are really not going to play for the major
Got
side.
4 QSS's free.
Right.
1 more left to go.
Number 4 in for Sejuani. That's the luxury you get by being ahead so much in gold. You pay about 750 gold for the active itself. The actual MR stats you're paying for half.
This is on a team that has Tom Kench.
That's true.
Contracts ultimate may as well just be used for the sting damage, which is pitiful.
Yeah.
And since he has built full tank, it's a very, very useless feeling when you're in a game like this. You're behind, all your camps are getting taken, so you can't even get a catch-up experience. You're full tank, so you don't do any damage.
Yeah.
This is why Captain Flowers just hates the full tank builds.
Hey,
because later in the game, you don't get to do much.
At least he's maxing E first. Flowers happy about that one. Tank Skarner should be maxing the E for the damage. Q is an AD ratio ability. Also to point out about Context a bit more, he's also building for the steals, right? He went for Righteous Glory as his first major item. He went for Predator. Like, he's trying to get in there for the R, and it's a lowercase R. It's not one of those gangplank R's where you get a lot out of it. So that was a funny joke. I appreciate the one guy who groaned, so thanks. At least I knew you heard the joke. It didn't go over anyone's heads.
Yeah, he's new here.
Yeah. You're not supposed to give me any recognition for anything. It's not funny.
Well, don't worry. We got 53 seconds left before
Action will happen
the
soon.
Baron is about to get set up. And honestly, Golden Guardians, they might want to even just give that one up because we talked about how risky it's going to be for them to go through these jungle corridors. It's fully lit up with OpTic vision currently. And they are going to have Camille splitting on bottom side, who has gotten to the point that Trinity Force and Ravenous Hydra, basically, you can't trade and bounce right back, heal up off the minion wave. So Dokla here with teleport ready is feeling very confident. There are multiple options for him to teleport in if they actually wanted to go for that fight and get a flank, but they really get wins by either playing it slow or finding a good engage if the Golden Guardians have to rush over into this Baron pit. Pretty much all the options are in OpTic's favor.
I'm curious how Guardians think about this, though, because they have to know they're behind. They know that for sure. But the question is, do you try to fight for this Baron and this is your comeback, or is your comeback defending an inhibitor turret? They've got to choose one of those two as their way back into the game. They are playing for mid control right now, but still so much darkness around the Baron area. Look for the kidnap on the top side. The flash almost caught him! He was the one guy without QSS that could have been a kill, and he just barely wasn't in range.
Yeah, Dokla with a good escape there. Camille doesn't even have to use her own flash. Gets right out over the wall, so that is Predator activation. No, that was Righteous Glory activation and the flash. Now they're on to the Baron.
Guardians might be coming forward. Acadian kind of on the bottom side. They're going for the pull back as Matt's in the front line. Contract's kind of nearby.
Acadian's got the flank, though.
And he's going to find the stun in the front line. Or can they kill off Matt? Time he flashes backwards, puts up the shield, look for the ultimate. Only tags one, though. It's PUE that gets hit into the air. Disengage comes through. Not a lot of ultis burned by OpTic. Sejuani really for this one. And mid lane actually gets taken down by Deathly as a result. Golden Guardians actually play the situation better.
Yeah, Golden Guardians are able to get the outer turret and a little bit of gold, but they won't be able to spend it before OpTic make them fight for it. Baron still has a pink ward on it, and they're just trying to bait here. Dokla on the outside is looking for a flank onto high. He's got him.
Or they've got the stun. They're going to go for the ulti. He's going to get some damage up onto this guy. And can he really get out? But looks like, yes, they can push back. Douglas gets eaten up by Tom. Kid nearly goes down, but does stay alive. Damage, though, dealt more by Golden Guardians. Going to push him out.
He has teleport, though. Dokla can go back to base to refill at the fountain and teleport out onto the field, whereas High on Rise going back to base will not be able to do so. So I would force here super hard if you are OpTic. Golden Guardians move in, though. They get the Skarner Spire, and that is going to be a lot more security for themselves. OpTic are going to take that chance to also send Power of Evil back and get a full reset. This is actually very well played from Golden Guardians, considering the difficult situation they were in.
Even though no kills happen, actually a pretty big tempo swing in the game. All of that setup over Baron just got turned around. OpTic got nothing to show for it anymore. They're going to catch some waves, they'll get some farms. Might mean some more gold in their pockets. These Infernal Directors alive could be another small objective going their way, but they're going to have to work twice as hard again to try to get themselves that one. And even then, Dokla can't go for the Drake as High pushes them away.
1v1 at the Dragon Pit. They don't have vision on the other's teams. And who's going to get it? No smites! It's a happened.
How much damage does Rise have? EQ is a lot of damage. 84, and it's going to go over to High, and now onto the Baron one more time as Contract reveals does not have flash. He has to walk in to find it. Akaden's going to find him. Nice juke on the open. He gets away from that one. That is an ultimate missing, and once again, OpTic must turn away, but this time around, Guardians picked up more objectives in the meantime.
The Golden Guardians never say die. Still fighting here. Find themselves an Infernal Drake, and they don't give up any ground around Baron. This is huge plays from them. They're still down over 6,000 gold here. Yet OpTic, with even with Camille in the side lane, not getting any pressure down there. Lorlo, very tanky now, is able to hold his own no problem. He still is holding this big CS lead and approaching level 18 even. So Golden Guardians very happy about this mid-game stall.
Absolutely agree. You get more and more time to farm up. The Rise can go towards 6 items. That'll feel pretty good.
And even with how bad Contracts feels about all of the we have a bit of a engage here on Acadian. Should be able to get out
over the wall, and also now we've got elimination coming around, so this could be another little skirmishy fight. Okay, over the wall goes Acadian, half HP, but does have War Mugs, so he'll back up no problem.
I was just going to say, as bad as it feels for Contracts, the QSS is taking up inventory slots is going to mean more as we go on. But now they're grouped up in the Baron Pit. Watch for the Shockwaves.
And TP used to find themselves the fight, and the Rizal pulls them right back up. And that can mean they can rush towards Baron, but can the team be zoned out? POV can try to push the team away. A nice knockback by Triz. Meets no chance to smite, and Shockwave secures the kill on Matt as well. What a play out of OpTic.
That is one of the more interesting Baron dances that I have seen. As Golden Guardians leash the Baron and then peace out. Good disengage that you pointed out there from Arrow. Just ulting Contracts away. Nothing he can do about that one. And OpTic are very happy to have that one handed off. Now they just run right up the mid lane. They're going to be able to be very happy about opening the door to the base as well.
It was a spicy one, but finally the Baron does come through to OpTic. Guardians tried their best. They got a little bit done, but now Contracts and High a little bit alone. High against the wall, puts the shield on, but if you have a way out, the CC is too much. A stun going to come in for another kill, too. King Me, he jumps forward for another one. A nice knockback, though. Arrow gets low on life, but he'll have the damage pick up deftly on the side. Matt respawns both shields down, but there's no one to deal damage off the crowd control. Another jump, Shockwave pulls in, make that another kill. Jump forward for one more time, and absolutely everyone's going to die for this one. An ace, courtesy of Elimination for the final kill. 12-2, and a 34-minute victory coming through to OpTic. This one ended quickly. 1 minute long. The Baron buff push ends the game. OpTic up to 4-7.
What a way for that one to end.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, some mispositionings, then probably a breakdown in communication after the Baron fiasco, because they were all out of sorts, and OpTic just win the game almost instantly off of that play.
It was nicely played by them, though. Once they realized they had the advantage, they got the chase down. But you're right, Golden Guardians feel like they got caught out of that one. At a certain point, yep, you got pushed out of the pit, go back to your base and defend, and instead the kills were found regardless. Anyway, that means more sadness for Golden Guardians fans. They remain towards the bottom of the table, I believe in dead last once again. OpTic, though, moving into optimistically a tie for a playoff spot, I do believe. You have to look at where every team is exactly, just by the fact that TSM picked up a win and 100 Thieves as well. It does pull some of the spots away from OpTic, but they are still right there within striking distance, and I think they can keep that move going. Their match tomorrow will be against TSM, who is a very much head-to-head opponent for getting one of those playoff spots.
Yeah.
That's going to be huge for them.
Definitely so, especially considering TSM just got a victory today as well. So both teams going to be coming in feeling pretty good about Saturday. But yeah, I mean, honestly, OpTic Gaming, just moving right up there in the standings. 4 wins now. They're definitely within swinging distance here of playoffs. And I know, talking to all those players, that's what they have their eyes on. They're working very hard towards this goal.
So what do we think about Dokla?
I think that was a great first game, appearance.
Okay.
They were playing the now last team in the league.
Sure.
So there weren't any, big. There's no big fiasco that you can point to and be like, oh no, bring back Zig immediately. Right. So I think as far as a first showing there, good for Dokla.
Respectable first showing for Dokla. We'll see what comes out of him later on. They blind picked him the champion. The matchup was maybe a bit difficult in lane, but certainly serviceable. Got some good ults off in the team fights and whatnot. Fun one to watch for. We'll see if they continue with him. Again, to talk about what I did in Champ Select earlier, the team was open and saying they were going to split scrim time. They knew coming into the week, all right, Zig plays day 1, Dokla plays day 2. We'll play the other 2 scrim days by ear, and they chose that today it was going to be Dokla playing. We'll see what it looks like. But now we're going to send it down to Avli to hear from OpTic Gaming's rookie top laner.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Dokla. Congratulations on that win and your NALCS debut. How excited were you coming into this game?
Yeah, I was pretty excited to get a chance to play in LCS. This is something like every league player, aspires to be. And then, the dream came true for me. So really happy to be here.
Tell me a little bit about your journey this week, coming in and preparing for this weekend.
Yeah, so it was a lot of flights from Dallas. So, so just fly in Monday, week's worth of practice. It's really good to have scrims against LCS teams instead of academy teams. I feel like I'm improving, and yeah, it's really good.
You prepared for both Academy and LCS this week. Is there a bit of stress that's added on for both of those, or was it just step 1, 2?
It was just step 1, 2. I feel like, Academy games were pretty easy relative to the LCS ones. I mean, Golden Guardians played pretty well. I mean, I didn't play as well as I would be playing, but maybe that's just stage nerves, but yeah.
And you still had a really nice performance in this game, but what were you looking to prove by playing?
So with this game, I was just looking like I can compete with LCS players. So it's my first time doing it. I feel like I did an okay job. Could definitely do better, but it's first game.
Well, Dokla, congratulations again on your win. And for more on this game, let's hear from the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. Great first outing on the LCS stage there, pulling in the victory for OpTic Gaming. We'll get to a more specific report card there for Dokla in just a moment. Before we do, we have to take another look at the game-ending Baron dance, not a fight.
Oh, so this is the point after it happened.
Never mind.
Yeah, so what we wanted to talk about was the fact that High's Rise had essentially Rise ulted his team out of the Baron pit to eventually set up this push. But yes, OpTic does hammer it home after a big mistake by the Golden Guardians.
And it kind of feels like they go mental boom at that point. Like they lose their mid inhib, they're out clearing a minion wave too far on the top side, and then everyone just dies in the base. Clearly one of those situations where you misplayed the Baron so bad that it was hard for them to kind of get their feet back underneath them. And very easy for OpTic to win after that, and it looked like a very fast game, a 34-minute victory, but they did stall out a fair amount around that second Baron.
34-minute game ending in an instant, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of why it was as quick as it was. But to Kobe's point, right, a kind of a baffling and Baron dance, if anything. And hey, look, that happens in the moment, in the immediacy of the moment. You make a call, it's the wrong call, and you can get punished to that degree. And OpTic will be glad to have been afforded that opportunity to pick it up. But now I want to figure out how they even got there through the lens of looking at Dokla, the first timer in the top lane here on the NALCS stage. He's been doing great work in Academy. I know that you've had a keen eye on him and what he's done in the top lane. How did you feel he began to transition to the LCS stage?
It was a good start that kind of fell off into the mid and late game. He was playing Camille Nar, which is a pretty well understood matchup. You don't smash that lane, but you should go close to even. It's roughly about a -8 CSD for Camille in that matchup. So you lose it a little bit, but then you become a really big threat once you start getting your items in the 1v1 and the side lanes. And this game, there was a lot of focus around the top side, which is really why it was kind of impressive at the beginning to see him surviving with all that pressure that was going on up there.
Right, that's a CS differential, in an ideal situation where maybe you're both getting the same amount of pressure. Not the case this time around. Golden Guardians choosing to look at that top lane as a place they could gain advantages.
Yeah, and especially having Gnar and Skarner, who, as Skarner, you're the fastest farming jungler in the game. You're going to be able to make it up top lane, and they were trying to prep turret dives with that. So you saw Katie, I think, very smartly counter and ganking that lane and not falling too far behind pressure. You can see the jungle proximity stats on the screen right there. Zig, almost never about him when he's up there. They're not ganking for him, he's not getting ganked. This game very different because they picked the aggressive Camille blind and almost kind of dared Golden Guardians to stop it, and Golden Guardians camped him really hard, as you can see, 14%.
Is this, I mean, again, one game, so it's probably an outlandish statement. Is this essentially a Licorice approach?
No,
Not quite.
I don't
Not
think,
quite.
I don't think it didn't feel like, you know, where C9 picks matchups and then goes and camps for him. This felt very much counter-geeking by Katie, and you see it was always behind their own turret, always reactive in that sense, and they played well around it. The problems came after that point because at 10 minutes he was roughly even in farm, but by 15 minutes he was down 40 CS in the matchup, which is pretty crazy to see. That it felt like once the map started opening up, he wasn't sure what to do.
Yeah, and I also want to say, like, this win was mostly credited to the 4 other players of OpTic.
Right.
Yes.
In their ability to hold 4v5 in situations where he was split pushing, and then in their ability to make plays either 4v4 or 5v4 when Lorla was split pushing. We have a perfect example of it right here, where Dokla doesn't even have his Tiamat yet, so it's a slow push in that lane. And this is a very low health turret that Golden Guardians fails to do anything with. Then the pressure had actually rotated back the other way, and this is a different replay once they have Baron buff, but essentially the point was they then get a 4v4 or a 5v4 fight that had a turret dive to be able to pull that advantage.
Yeah, Dokla had wrapped around behind the turret previously, so it was clear that Dokla was not playing super well on his own in the side lanes, not having that Tiamat because he fell so far behind. So he kind of had a snowball effect where he stayed behind for a large portion of this game, and then there were a couple other situations where he was not really able to influence it quite how he wanted to. But that's being very critical of him, given that he came in 1 week of practice, obviously is not going to be totally in sync with the rest of his team.
Right, I mean, we got to remind ourselves, he said he got off a plane on Monday of this week to be able to start practicing in-house with the team. So by all accounts, coming away with a victory is a fantastic debut. To your point, though, Jet, perhaps the win more credited to the other 4 members, you know, covering for the weaknesses that he did show. And those were primarily exposed in that kind of mid-game. One other prime example, the moment where he's up against High at the Drake, seemed to be some confusion there with exactly how to act.
And this is a tough LCS moment right here because you need to be able to make a risky play. He doesn't want to fight High here because he's worried about dying. But the situation is the rest of his team is prepping Baron, and if Golden Guardians send 2 or 3 people towards Infernal Drake, then they actually get the Baron. And High is using spells on Baron with Mercury Treads and Abyssal Mask and not a single armor item. He hadn't even completed his Zonias yet.
Right.
Fight him. All in the Rise. Just go for it, because either you kill him and take the Infernal Drake, which is very powerful, or you draw enough pressure that your team ends up getting the Baron Pit. That was definitely a moment where he needed to try and make a big play.
All right, and that's that veteran status that he'll grow into at some point, be able to make those decisions for himself instead of having to lean on his team. We've got one more game before we wrap up this day. It's Team Liquid versus FlyQuest, so don't go anywhere.
Green wall, green wall.
Green wall.
Green wall.
Red line, green wall, blue triangle.
No, blue Illuminati.
Illuminati.
Rise is showing up for a 3 versus 2. Shockwave comes in, pulls a big. And that's the first blood that got the burst. There's the ulti in across from Matt, and this could be the first kill. Shield comes up, but there's still nowhere to go.
Go, rise. Rise at that.
Go Varus, and then Baron.
Stun in the
Baron.
Another jump, Shockwave pulls in, make that another kill. Jump forward for one more time, and absolutely everyone's going to die for this one. An ace. Courtesy of elimination for the final kill, 12-2, and a 34-minute victory coming through to OpTic. This one ended quickly